So if you've been designing for a while and still feel like your work looks off, it's probably not your taste. It's your fundamentals. I've been doing this for 16 years and I've worked on healthcare platforms, enterprise dashboards, fintech apps, and the stuff I'm about to walk you through shows up in every single one of them, no exceptions. So this isn't a tips and tricks video. This is the actual framework. So the concepts that once they click, make everything you design start to make sense. So let's get into it. Number one, signifiers. Your UI should speak without words. So here's a concept that separates beginner designers from experienced ones, and it's signifiers. So a signifier is anything in your UI that communicates how something works without you having to write instructions for it. Let's think about a simple navigation with three items. Let's say it's drinks, food, and dessert. If two of them are grouped inside a container, users instantly understand that they're related. If we put a filled background on one of those tabs, then they know that it's selected. If we gray out the third item, then they know it's inactive. And you see, nobody told them any of that. The UI did the talking. And that's the goal. Good signifiers, they include like button presses and hover states, active nav highlights, tooltips that explain affordances, disabled states that prevent confusion. If a user has to stop and think about how something works, your signifiers, they're not doing their job. Visual hierarchy. So you need to guide the eye and don't just fill space. Hierarchy is how you can tell the user what to look at first. And you've got three tools for this: size, position, and color. And then that's it. Imagine a card with all the right data, but everything is the same size, the same weight, and the same color. So it reads like a spreadsheet. There's no hierarchy, there's no clear entry point for the eye. So the fix is straightforward. The item goes large and bold at the top because it's what the user cares about the most. Time and date drop smaller below it, and then price goes in the top right like a contrasting color. Like blue usually works well because it's different from everything else and the eye's going to naturally find it. That contrast, big versus small, color versus gray, top versus bottom, that's what creates hierarchy. And then there's no single right answer to this, but the principle never changes. The most important things get the most visual weight. Grids and white space. Stop over engineering your layout. So let me bust a myth. You do not need a perfect 12 column grid on every screen. Grids are guidelines, not laws, and a lot of great custom landing pages don't align to any grid at all. Where grids actually earn their keep is in structured repeating content, so galleries, blogs, data tables, because they make responsive behavior predictable. 12 columns on a desktop, 8 on tablet, 4 on mobile. Here's what matters more than any other grid: white space. You gotta let things breathe. I use a 4-point grid system. Everything is a multiple of 4, not because it magically looks better, but because you can always divide by 2 and maintain consistency throughout the entire design. 32 pixels between sections, 16 between related elements, 8 pixels for type groupings. It creates visual rhythm without you having to eyeball it every single time. Typography, just one font. Seriously. In my 16 years of designing, I can count on one hand the number of times I've used more than one font in a project. You almost never need to. So pick a good sans serif font like Inter or Geist or Plus Jakarta Sans, and then just stick to it. Any of those will carry you through 90% of what you ever design. So don't spend 3 hours in the font rabbit hole because that time is spent better on layout. And so here's a quick technique that instantly makes large text feel more polished. You got to tighten the letter spacing to about like -2, -3%, and drop the line height to maybe around 110, 120%. That alone makes headers feel more intentional instead of default. On landing pages, you can usually use a wide range up to 6 different sizes. On dashboards, that range tightens up like dramatically. So you rarely need anything above 24 pixels because information density matters more than the drama. Color, use it with intent, not for decoration. My approach is start with one primary color, and that's your brand color. So lighten it for backgrounds and then darken it for text. And that alone gets you 80% of the way to a cohesive palette. From there, you're building towards a color ramp, the same system large design teams use for chips, states, charts, and components. But don't overthink it earlier on. What matters more as a foundation is semantic color, so color with meaning. Blue for trust, red for error or danger, yellow for warning, green for success. And these aren't arbitrary choices. Like users have been conditioned to read them across every product they've ever used. So you got to use that to your advantage. Color should always serve a purpose. If you're reaching for a color because your design feels boring, that's a hierarchy problem, not a color problem. Dark mode. It's not just inverted light mode. So a lot of designers get dark mode wrong because they treat it like a filter. You just flip the colors and then done. And that's not the case at all. In light mode, shadows create depth. So, like a card sits above a background because it casts a shadow. In dark mode, shadows are barely red. So, depth comes from the value of layering instead. So, your card's surface needs to be on a lighter tone than the background, and that's what makes it feel elevated. Border contrast is also another common trap. A light border that looks subtle in light mode will often come in way too strong on a dark background. Pull the opacity back and then let it settle. Don't default to navy and gray just because it feels safe. Like dark mode opens up genuinely interesting space for deep purples, rich greens, and like warm reds. Some of the best dark UIs lean into colors in ways light mode just simply can't. Shadows. If it's the first thing you notice, you did it wrong. Shadows are one of those things beginners over apply and experienced designers use with restraint. If the shadow is the first thing you notice in your design, it's too strong. Pull back the opacity, increase the blur. The goal is to suggest depth, not announce it. A basic card is sitting on a page and needs a very light shadow, just enough to separate it from the background. And a popover modal floating above content needs a heavier one because it needs to communicate that it's sitting at a higher elevation. And that distinction matters. It's how users understand the structure of your UI without thinking about it. You can combine inner and outer shadows to create tactile raised button effects, which are great for interactive elements that benefit from feeling physical. Icons and buttons. Size them right, then build the states. Most icons and most designs are too big. So the fix is simple. Match your icon size to the line height of the text it's paired with. If your body text has like 24 pixels in line height, your icons should be 24 pixels. They'll optically align and stop competing with the content. For button padding, a reliable rule of thumb is double the height to get the width. That's clean, proportional, it works almost everywhere. And every button needs at least 4 states, like a default, hover, active, or pressed. And you know what, disabled. Like if you ship a button with only one default state, then you're not done. This is actually one of the main reasons I had built BlakeUI. BlakeUI is a component library where every component ships with all the right states already baked in. So buttons, inputs, badges, cards, production ready just right out of the box. I got tired of rebuilding the same patterns on every single project, so I codified them once. So you can check it out at BlakeUI, links in the description. Interactive feedback. Every action needs a response. This principle sounds obvious, but it's violated constantly. When a user does something, the UI, it has to respond. Inputs need a focus state when clicked into, and an error state with a red border and a message when something's wrong, and then sometimes a warning for a state for non-blocking issues. Loading spinners when data's fetching, success messages when an action completes, micro animations on a scroll or a swipe. Every interaction needs a response. Micro interactions take that a step further. So if we were going to take a copy button, for example, a hover and click states are fine, but if a small copy, like chip, slides up and fades after the click, now the user has that confirmation. The action is closed and the product feels polished. And that's the difference between feedback and a micro interaction. Overlays. Stop ruining your images with flat fills. If you're placing text over an image and dropping a flat dark overlay behind it, stop. There's actually a much better approach. Use a linear gradient instead. Start fully transparent at the top so the image reads clearly, and then fade into a solid, legible background color at the bottom, like where your text lives. The image gets to breathe, and then the text is readable, and then the whole thing looks intentional. If you want to go a step further, layer a progressive blur like at the very top of the gradient. It's a more modern treatment, and it makes overlay text feel like it belongs rather than it's just being dropped on top. You know what? That's the full framework. So signifiers, hierarchy, grids, topography, color, dark mode, shadows, icons, feedback, and overlays. None of this is new. These have been fundamentals for years, but the designers who internalize them, who apply them automatically without having to think, like those are the ones producing work that consistently looks intentional and professional. If you found this useful, you can subscribe. I put out content on design systems and building things that actually work. And if you want production ready components built around one of these principles, not one, but all of these principles, you can go to BlakeUI at blakeui.com. The link's in the description. I'll see you again soon.